Okay, so at this point I have tried on 3 different occasions to do the screencast of the TED Talk I have analyzed. I've done it, multiple times, and for some reason each time I do it, it records the first 14 seconds, and then I continue to talk for about 5 minutes, and then when I turn it off, I realize that it only recorded those first 14 seconds. I've tried to, look up videos on how to make it work, but I don't know what's wrong with it, so I am going to make this YouTube video. I will tweet it, and in the description of the video, I will put the link to this woman's TED Talk, so that you can go back and look at exactly what I'm talking about through the video. So, nonetheless, this woman, Sunny Brown, did a TED Talk on the art of doodling. So, she starts off her presentation very casual. She goes in, she says, hi, I'm Sunny Brown, here's my story, and she talks about how she spends her days, what she does, and how she got into this whole issue with doodling. So, a lot of her days are spent actually trying to teach people about doodling, and, so she starts off with that technique of storytelling. It's very casual. You can see throughout the video she is pacing around. She's dressed rather casually, but yet she still looks professional. She's using a lot of hand gestures, and the overall talk seems very conversational. She's addressing the whole audience. You can see her looking around, making eye contact with some of her audience members. It's not just, her standing at a podium and talking. It's as if she's having a conversation with those members in her audience who came to watch her present. So, throughout the video, she has a screen behind her, and she has a little clicker, and while she talks, she doesn't look back at the screen. She's not, reading off a graph, but she clicks and has these images, these graphs, other visual representations come up behind her, and I think it really helps her presentation. She doesn't use it as a crutch. It's not like, oh, I need this in order to have a successful presentation. She clearly knows what she's talking about. She doesn't need it to stay on track, but it does help her overall presentation because it is able to add a visual aspect to the presentation. So, she goes into talking about the history of doodling. She talks about, what the word doodle even meant in the 19th century. Apparently it meant a corrupt politician. So she shows that, over time, the word doodle itself has had a negative connotation. Nonetheless, that doodling had a pretty negative connotation when it came to doodling in a place like the workplace or in school. So she adds little elements of humor throughout it. She makes jokes here and there. One of them is about Bill Gates, very kind of sarcastic, making fun of that, but it doesn't take away or make her from the presentation or make her seem unprofessional. It just adds a fun element to it. It still adds to her point, but I think it makes it kind of humorous, casual, conversational, and I think it helps her overall discussion. But so throughout the talk, she continues with the same hand gestures. She's using the kind of gestures you might make in a conversation, using her hands kind of like this, referencing to the board, but without really looking at it. And she continues to use graphs and other images to add to what she is saying on the board behind her. Overall, I think it's a really nice TED Talk. I think she does a good job making it casual and conversational, but also serious enough to where her audience is taking whatever she is talking about seriously. In this case, it's doodling, and I think she's able to make her point and get it across to her audience, and also make an enjoyable experience for them. I hope that my presentation can run as smoothly as hers does, and I think I can see myself using some of the elements she did, especially with the casual conversation kind of tone that she uses and the humor that's intertwined with it. I can see myself borrowing some of those techniques for my own presentation.